is counter protesting unless it is a violation or an attempt to stop free speech? What does counter protesting mean in
If you have
America?
different views than
Nah, I don't think it's an attempt to stop free speech. You go out there as a protester to get your shit heard, and they want their opinion heard.
It's just
But
different
why
views.
would you
That's
use the
it.
word counter?
Because it's a
Because
counter
a
protest. They're
protest
counter
started it.
protesting what I believe in.
A protest
Yeah, they're not
started
trying
it,
to
and they're
stop my free
countering
speech.
a protest that's already going on.
Well,
Have
you
you
love
ever
counter
been
protesting,
to, have you ever
actually.
been to a protest where there was a
Yes.
counter protest? No, I'm
Every
not done.
protest
Hang on,
usually
hang
has
on.
it.
I didn't finish the question. Have
Yeah.
you ever been to a counter? Have you ever been to a protest where the counter protesters' intention was not to stop whatever you were there to protest?
Yes.
Right. I may
I've
have
had them set up
misused.
right across the street from each other with microphones and argue
Yep.
their sides.
That's
And
how it's
Okay.
usually done.
I may have
That's
misused
usually
the
how it's done.
colloquialism with counter protesting. Technically, all protesters, whatever they're protesting, they are protesting. Maybe I
Right.
use
I go for that. I get it.
What
That's why it's called counter protesting.
what they were
all
doing,
there to
what
protest.
Summer and those people were doing last night was a protest. Now, if there had been a bunch of Nazis over there yelling at Summer and them, they would have been counter protesting their protest.
That's descriptive. That's fine. We know what
In
it
that
means. when
hypothetical,
someone says
the
it.
Nazi counter protester would
Yeah,
also
they're,
be
it's,
protesting.
I like counter protesting.
Right.
Like,
Well,
you know
I
what I mean?
actually
If you-
just got the first real answer, so I appreciate that from this panel. Thank you all. You're
And,
very
and then when
intelligent.
BLM protested Nazis, it's a counter protest.
counter protest.
Can we just all agree that gerbil lives matter?
Yes.
And so, yes, gerbil lives matter. So why? Yes, Kyle was the reason why we were there last night. But if you watch my video, you will see, and it was beautiful and it was exciting because there were so many different people there, and it was done perfectly. It was a perfect example of how people can stand united and say, hey, you know what? You may got away with every single thing, but we don't like you and we don't fucking care for you. And it is what it is.
I got no problem with that.
That's why I thought
appreciate
it
a
was
motherfucker
beautiful.
who take the time out of their day to go do that shit. And I consider myself fair and free speech. I would prefer that's me. I'd like to hear Cal's argument. I like to see people put their foot in their mouths, but that's just me. I totally understand
Right.
motherfuckers
Well,
do it a different way.
That's why he leaves the stage when the questions come, because
Yes.
the answers have not been written for him the way his speeches are.
And that
by some
particular, I
far
think, was a
right-wing
black
nutjobs.
guy questioning him too, and the questions were getting uncomfortable. I almost remember the questions.
Yep.
And the thing of it is, last night there was no race. There was no color.
No what?
Race.
It was people coming together, all different people, different ages, different beliefs, different all that, and and they were standing in one unity. It was like,
And
no, we're
every
not with this. We
BLM
don't
protest
appreciate
I
it being in
went
our
to,
college.
It was
and
it was a mix of races. Some colleges did a study. 80% of those protests, BLM protests, was white folks. I got good video of all races doing crazy shit at the same time together.
Yep.
And that's why I
Tons
didn't
of
like the
different races.
January 6th shit, by the way, because I didn't see a lot of diversity in that fucking crowd. And the first motherfucker I used that too. The first motherfucker to be like, yeah, Joe is diverse. Is the motherfucker I probe further. I assume he has some beliefs. If that was for our country, I wanted to see all people represented, then I might have been down with it. I don't have a problem with them going in there and flipping over some shit though. Fuck that.
Good point.
And Vicky, that's what last night showed. When we were there, there was that's what I was proud of as an organizer, as a protester, as you know what I mean? To see that beauty and it be done well. It was, yes, that's what I was very excited about that shit. And Kyle just happened to be the person we showed up for this time. There'll be another cause next time. And when it's done well, I love it because that's not what's seen, that people don't see that. And there's beauty in that. Just unity.
There's power in that.
Yeah, man. It's gorgeous. It's beautiful.
Dennison, have you ever stood up for anybody's rights?
Besides your own.
Besides my own?
Yes, besides your own, because it sounds like that's poison to you. Fuck that.
I mean, sure, when I was younger.
Okay.
Would you do it now?
No.
Why?
I mean, a lot of reasons. I could give you a 2-hour dissertation as to.
No, I was just a quick
I
answer.
want
So
to know.
I'm going
You're-
to tell
you're a very
I don't even-
intelligent. You're a very
Dennis
intelligent,
Senate-
brave man with a loud voice. So my question is, if God gave you that talent, why don't you use it for greater good of other people?
How do you know I don't?
I just asked you, and you said no.
He just said no.
Yes,
That's not what you asked me.
For someone else's rights.
I
other
would
than his
disagree
own.
with your answer of no, because right here, what you've been doing is defending the rights of a murderer. I'm sorry, of Kyle.
No, he's been accurate. He's supposed to, if that's what he believes, and blah. His logic's been.
I don't
sound.
even
He
believe
ain't
in
do nothing
rights.
other than
I just had to get that
he
little
wasn't
jab.
supposed to do.
The fact that Kyle got charged at all is proof we don't have rights in this country. We have
I'm
permissions.
a grandmother. I'm a grandmother.
Whoa, hold on now. You said a little while ago that, so you're saying state laws are a violation of rights,
No.
He
like
wasn't
intimidation or curfew?
He wasn't charged until the what do you call them? Help me out for public safety. Who are the guys who actually press the charges in criminal cases?
District attorney.
Oh,
Yeah.
you talk about
He
a.
wasn't charged until
Yeah.
enough pressure was applied to the
Yeah.
district attorney.
No,
He
he was,
Right,
he was
which
probably
proves
indicted
that
by a
America's
grand jury.
courts are run politically and not legally, which is my whole point. We have
He
permissions,
wasn't
not
charged.
rights.
I do believe that whole situation was used in a political aspect, and that's
It was
another
after
thing.
public pressure was applied.
Denizen,
In the
Denizen,
trial, we proved that he did maliciously shoot that guy, but he did it in a moment.
No, it didn't.
Of
That didn't happen in
self-defense.
the trial.
And that's what the jury has to
That's
go
not
by.
what malicious means, brother.
Stop.
Malicious means with intent.
Leading up to when he pulled the trigger, there's your story, Fox News story, MSNB story, there's my story. Everyone has a different story. So the jury is forced to go on one thing. In the moment he pulled the trigger, in that moment, he was defending himself. Whether the other guy was a child molester, whether they attacked him, whether he was carrying a gun, all that is he said, she said, they said, the other person said, that they're forced to focus on one thing. In that moment, he pulled the trigger.
What
in that
happened
moment.
that night?
And that's why he's found innocent.
and Denizen, by your own words, the system worked because you think that he was innocent and he was found innocent. If
No,
he'd have gone
because-
to jail by your definition, then
No.
the system would have been corrupt.
No, because the police report itself was written like a self-defense statement. The charges should have never been brought. And the police didn't want to bring charges. It wasn't until it was politically used in an election year in order to...
One of the police reports did say
So-
that.
Whoa. He was arrested the night that it happened. His legal process
Wait,
started
wait.
immediately,
No, he turned
like
himself in.
everybody else in America.
He turned
he was-
himself in.
He wasn't arrested
was
right
arrested.
away.
He was
Well,
arrested
yeah, but they arrested him as soon as they found
He
him. They
turned
knew that he
no.
did it.
He
He
turned,
turned himself
in.
in.
Right,
Oh.
but that's because
And then
was
he gave a
thinking-
statement. And then based upon the evidence, even the police's version of the incidents that occurred read like a classic self-defense. He
Okay,
never
but
should have been.
And
the prosecutor-
hold on,
And
wait.
he was
Whoa, I gotta
prosecuted
answer this.
politically.
Is
Okay,
if
I gotta
Joe
answer
did
this.
that night, it would have never been handled the way it was handled with Kyle, right? From
Now,
the
hold
police
on.
aspect. That's the issue that I have with that.
Hang on, Summer. Let me get this out. All right. So, but by your terms, in the
That's
way
what it
you
is.
tried to put it, it would sound like somebody from somebody's elected candidacy team went and grabbed Kyle by the hand and said, "Hey, you know what? We're going to bring your case back from the grave just so we can make some kind of political statement with it." That didn't
Yes.
happen. The guy
That's
committed
exactly
a
what
crime.
happened.
He got caught. He had to
He
go through
didn't
the
commit a
same
crime.
legal process.
He didn't get
Okay.
caught.
All right.
He
Yeah, you're
defended
cutting him
himself.
off
He
a
turned
lot.
himself in.
He committed several crimes he was never charged with. Breaking
He
that
just
car-
wasn't charged with the crimes that he did commit, and they attempted to charge him with the crime that he was found not guilty of. That doesn't mean he didn't commit crimes. That means that the DA probably should have pressed different charges
Like breaking curfew.
or intimidation with
Guilty.
a weapon.
Yeah,
Well,
There
brandishing
was
a
no
threat.
call for blood for
Also-
that.
No, as far as
There was
brandishing
a-
goes in that state, he's not guilty of it.
Brandishing is not the same as intimidation with a weapon.
It
And
was
I
during
wouldn't say he'd be guilty of either.
a curfew. You cannot carry an AR-15 around.
Well,
it was
yeah.
locked
Well, I
down
mean, you can't-
because of the
You
protest.
can't be outside, right? Period.
Right. Right.
Yeah,
So,
guilty of breaking curfew.
I was
guilty.
guilty. I
I'm
was,
banging my gavel. You got my vote. Now, what does that do for the murdering the pedophile
No, we're not done yet. What about intimidation with a weapon?
there we go with the pedophile thing again.
and
In
the
the
murdering
moment-
thing again?
In the moment he pulled the trigger, he's innocent. He's defending himself in that
Right.
moment.
Which is not murder, right?
There's a lot of he said, she said, they said leading up to it. He should
Well, it's
not
on
have
video.
been there. You
Okay.
acknowledge yourself. He should not
There's
have been
not a lot of he said, she
should
said.
not
The
have
whole
been
thing
there
was on
during an
video.
AR-15 during a curfew, during a lockdown.
After he brought a weapon to a place to intimidate people with malicious intent to intimidate.
He and his
Well,
parents
now you're just making it
were
up.
stupid for allowing him to be in that situation in the first place.
Yes, 100%.
What
And-
situation?
Right. When you're stupid to put yourself in a situation where you end up having to defend yourself, you caused that situation. He should have been at home doing his
Well, I
job.
think the BLM protesters were
He's right
stupid for being out there too.
That's a protest.
You're welcome to that bullshit
I don't care.
opinion, but 98% of BLM protests are peaceful. The ones that
What does
turn
that-
violent
what
are
does that
either
have to do with anything?
agitators or, I'm sorry?
What does that have to do with anything? My point is, I think they're stupid too. They wasted their time, and so anything the cops did to them would be the same thing. They welcomed it, according to your logic.
Well,
I
your
don't agree
logic-
with that.
Your
I
logic
wanna
just
ask
your
Dennis,
logic just changed America from being America. There is no freedom if there's no First Amendment right to protest.
Welcome to reality, buddy.
It ain't
And
reality.
Dennis,
That's your
Congratulations.
problem. You're bringing that
Dennis,
problem to me and
I'd
my
like to-
kids.
Dennis said,
Your right to protest ends where the state says it does.
Can I ask
Yeah,
a
right.
question? Can I ask a question? And this is an actual question I don't know the answer to. I'm assuming, first of all, Wisconsin's an open carry state. But can anybody tell me if, when that state is open carry, does that mean people can come from out of state? And also,
No,
is
but-
there an age limit on who can carry open carry?
Yeah, he was old enough and he didn't carry the gun from out of state.
How do you know he's old enough? Do you know the law? How old
Yes, I
was
know
he?
the law.
18.
Okay, well,
He
what
was
does the law say?
Long guns say you can be 17. You don't have to be 18 for long guns.
So in Wisconsin, you can open carry a long gun at 17.
Yes.
Yes.
Being a resident
And-
of another state.
Does
Can you
that mean
open
you can
carry
be? Does that mean you can be a resident of another state and open carry in Wisconsin?
The gun was
That's-
in that state.
That
That's
is,
where he-
yeah.
But
Yeah,
he
the
that's
still
gun
what
was,
found the
wasn't- still was
loopholes at.
not a citizen of Wisconsin.
yeah, I don't think that would be relevant to the law, and the judge didn't
It's-
think
Well,
so.
you don't
either.
think? I'm asking if anybody actually knows the law.
Yeah.
Well, according
law
to the
is that
judge,
that's not
it-
relevant.
He is
The state laws is what law you follow in the state. And then,
Right.
so here's the other question though.
I'm not
Okay,
sure
so
that's
let's
true.
say in Wisconsin that a 17-year-old can carry a long gun. Well, in Wisconsin, can a 17-year-old carry a long gun to intimidate people?
He is
I
being
don't.
now
I-
you're getting
I don't
into
think so, but
intent.
The court clearly didn't
Intent.
think that he was intimidating.
he is being sued.
I
He
think
may
he was.
say his intent was to protect the store owner that night, not to
Yeah, but
intimidate.
that you can have two reasons, two intentions at the same time.
All right,
The
how can
one
you
there was
prove that he
evidence for.
intended to? Yeah, was there?
Well, they didn't try to
evidence of
charge him with
intended
that,
to
Joe, which is,
intimidate?
they didn't try to charge him with that, Joe, which is why I'm bringing it up. This man here is
Why
saying
would they charge him with it? Intimidation.
if they had tried to charge him with malicious intent to intimidate, then I think the charges would have stuck and the boy would have been in prison for a minute.
Malicious
but what
intent to
actions were
intimidate is not a
malicious
statute.
intent? What
They didn't wanna
actions?
charge him.
Even assuming
Intimidation
it
is a statute and malicious intent is a section of the statute. Learn your laws.
Where's the malicious intent?
Cite it.
I just did. Intimidation is a statute, and in the subsections, you will find a higher level of punishment if you can find where it was
What
done
did he do
intentionally.
to intimidate?
He brought the gun to a place knowing that it would scare people that were there.
Nah, I don't think that
I-
means any place you carry a gun, someone's gonna get scared. That's not a
Well,
good.
Yeah,
no.
he's talking
I
about
don't know, Joe.
malicious.
I don't agree that people are going to be scared anywhere I carry my gun. I live in Indiana, close to Kentucky. Then where I live, people carry guns to Walmart. People carry
Well,
guns all over the place.
I've seen a million
they're all
videos
guilty of
where other
intimidation.
people
But-
carry guns where it's legal,
listen, brother.
and people call the police on them because they get scared.
But I'll tell you when they would call the police here is if a 17-year-old had a long gun at a place where there was a big crowd developing, and the 17-year-old was walking around acting like he was guarding a building. People will call the cops for that.
Yeah.
Well,
That's
people
so
call the
serious,
cops
and
all the time.
intimidation has been proven yet just because he's carrying a gun and where it's illegal and all of that shit. Yeah, I don't think you can call that intimidation.
I just feel like that's what he should have been charged with, is what I'm saying.
Yeah, they could charge armed fishermen with that.
There's no statute.
Okay, I have to go to another computer to do my job. I'll leave this open for you guys. I was really enjoying this, but before I go, I want to say a couple things. One is I apologize. I was wrong. For Public Safety corrected me on it, and I think Denizen too. I thought Kyle was charged later. It turns out he was charged right away, or he turned himself in right away. I get my murderers confused. I was thinking of Zimmerman. Zimmerman was going to walk until he was.
Didn't he make it home or some shit first though?
I don't really know the details. I have to cop to not knowing the details.
Yes, Kyle made it home first.
Well,
He tried to turn himself in on the night of the riot, and he couldn't because of the chaos.
Right.
Then he turned
He
himself
couldn't
in
come. The
later.
police was after the black people. They let the white motherfucker walk right past him with a gun and went and attacked everybody else.
Yep, that was.
But
the
that's
issue I had
neither
with
here
Chloe.
nor there. Go ahead.
I'd also like to say that Black lives do matter too, and the organization. Well, it's not really an organization; it's a movement. Their primary purpose.
Well, there's the organization, and then there's the movement, right? Because you know, there's people that stand and believe and wholeheartedly when we say Black Lives Matter. That's just that. It's Black Lives Matter. It's not an organization. It's people.
Soros,
It's everyday
so-and-so,
human people.
My church has a Black Lives
That's what we
Matter
support.
sign at the entrance. It's not because my church is part of the organization. It's because we're a part of the movement to remind people that yes, Black Lives Matter too. It's an incomplete sentence when you say Black Lives Matter.
I'd agree.
As we've seen in the chat, all lives do matter, but we have to say Black Lives Matter because it's not a given for everyone. A lot of people don't realize that they're human beings too.
Hey, I'm totally gonna porn bomb you when you leave. Just saying.
Okay, that's fine. And then this whole conversation will be taken down by YouTube, not by me. I'm going to work. Muckster is a mod. It's up to him if he wants to keep it going. No pressure, Muckster. But Summer, I guess we'll see you sometime Monday. Unless your team want to email me a shopping list, we can do it that way. We don't have to make a show about it. I can go either way.
David.
Yeah.
Before you leave, you got to hear me clown this guy that you brought up on your panel. Did you say there's no statute in Wisconsin to 940.44?
No,
Wisconsin statute 940.044.
You mean 4-5 intimidation of victims?
No, I'm talking about intimidation. I just said it. Wait. .44. It's 940.44.
Yes, intimidation of victims, misdemeanor.
Yeah, so what? That's the charge. You said
that's
it
witness intimidation.
I just gave you the statute number. Clown.
Slow down with the name calling. And
you said it wasn't a statute.
Listen and learn. Listen and learn for a second.
Okay, all right.
There is no statute that open.
Bad name. So
don't.
sorry.
Oh, you done? You ready? Ready to be educated? Okay, cool.
I'm ready to be educated in the fact that I just gave you a statute from Wisconsin.
So you weren't ready. Are you ready now? You ready now?
Keep going.
Yes, now that you've interrupted him 3 times, he's ready to listen while you interrupt.
So you're not ready. We'll wait until Finkels ready. You ready, Finkel?
I'm sorry.
Yeah, okay. You ready to hear?
.44.
Are you ready to hear why it doesn't apply? Okay, so that statute.
You said it wasn't a statute.
No, he doesn't want to hear it.
You don't want to hear it. It's a statute. Deal with it.
Chris, you could let him reply.
There's no statute that open carrying a rifle is intimidation. It doesn't exist.
That's not what it says.
Intimidation of a witness does not apply to this argument.
That's not intimidation of witness. That one ends in 4-8. I said 4-4. Intimidation
of a victim.
It is a Wisconsin statute. You cannot
4-4 is
intimidate
victims. 4-5 is witnesses.
All right. Well, it's 4-4.
This is arms. This is port arms.
Read 4-4 again, bro.
Shoulder arms. This is intimidation. Now, by request, I'm going to sing on my way out. Close your eyes and I'll kiss you. Tomorrow I'll miss you. Remember, I'll always be.
But to answer Finkel's question, I'm willing to sit here for a while longer. This is a pretty good conversation.
Dennis, do you have an opinion?
If anybody wants to come up, I can bring you up.
Do you have an opinion on Zimmerman? And forgot the kid's name. Right
Okay. All right.
Exact same situation.
What
Zimmerman.
what was the kid's name?
Rittenhouse.
Trayvon Martin.
Thank you, Trayvon. You said it's the same situation?
Yeah, almost the exact same situation.
Ooh.
Idiot who shouldn't have been armed and should have stayed in his fucking truck, got out and fucked around and found out, right, but he had the gun and Trayvon didn't.
I think you're right. It was the same situation. Another racist white motherfucker on some nonsense. I think he playing superhero. I think it was the same situation.
I mean, if white just means anything, that I want to shit on, sure.
No, it means any motherfucker
Jewish and Mexican.
Plays Captain America. He probably don't do that shit in their own hood. Motherfucker do that shit when some black motherfuckers around. Though suddenly the bravery come out.
It's convenient then, though, because then all the badge-wearing black cops automatically become white as soon as they do some heinous, fucked up shit.
Shit, they become white when they put the badge on, bro.
Yeah. I don't
See, exactly.
What's that got to do with a bunch of white racist
they're all
motherfuckers
blue.
around?
You know what they're like? They're like you, the people who will turn on their fellow Americans.
I've never turned on anybody in my life.
You are. The minute you tried to stop protesting, the minute you
Who
said
tried
that
to
you
stop
do not agree with
protesting?
protesting, you are sitting here saying that you don't agree
You're
with protesting.
tripping right now. I never tried to take protesting away from anybody.
No, because you're too weak. You couldn't do it. You know how many of us would take you out?
But not you would me, man. I love that nigga.
You would love to take out protesting because you hate protesting. You hate the First Amendment.
I don't give a shit.
You're coming in here trying to act friendly, man, but you're not.
Bro.
You're anti-American, bro.
I don't think he made that. May be a
have you looked around in America?
Have I looked around? What do you think I do? What do you think I do on my channel?
So you're pro-America,
like
bro?
I put it right in your face.
That is
you're pro-America, bro.
Yes, I'm absolutely pro-constitutional rights.
Hey, well, you have the right to remain ignorant, bro. I don't know what to tell you.
There ain't no right to remain ignorant. So why don't you come at me with a real conversation?
I'm saying if you support the United States, I
support the First Amendment. You come up in here saying protesting is not okay.
The First Amendment is
so you're either going to back down off of that, or you're not going to be able to have a conversation with me. The First Amendment.
Please let me interrupt for just a second. I really have to go visit the little girls' room. Try to behave yourself while I'm gone. You guys
totally
can unmute yourselves.
You pimp. Totally pouring you. Good. Woohoo! Ooh. That's a better fucking argument. For American argument. I want to hear that shit back and forth.
Yeah, I want to hear about how we don't have protesting rights.
That is not what Dennison was his point of his argument. He could give a fuck less if you waste your time out there protesting. I think that's where he would come from.
No, he agrees with people going out there with guns to stop protesters. Don't let him fool you. His whole platform is to stop people from having
Don't let me fool you with the things that I'm actually saying. Don't let that happen. Let him tell you what my position is.
Okay, tell me your position, because we've already heard it. Just because you loop back around and try to change the story.
I know you heard a whole lot of shit I ain't never said, brother. I'll agree with you.
No, but I heard a lot of shit you did say. So let's go on back to that.
I don't think you heard a goddamn thing.
Did you all hear whenever I asked him about the First Amendment protection of protesting? Yes or no?
What's the question?
What was your answer, Dennison?
What's the question?
How do you feel about protesting?
What?
Oh my God. All right. Somebody needs to rewind the tape.
No, you can just repeat your question.
Is the question, how does he feel about protesting?
Are you ready this time? How do you feel about protesting?
You mean like BLM did?
I mean what I said. How do you feel about
what do you
protesting?
mean by
It doesn't matter. Why do you care if it's BLM or NBC or CBS or what the fuck does it matter, man?
Because I'm trying to figure out exactly what you're asking.
You got to categorize people. You got to segregate to be able to allow someone to protest.
No, I was going to categorize the actions.
Right. You were going to change it. It was going to be more relevant to what your feelings are based on who it was that was doing it in this country.
No, it have to be relevant to your feelings so I can answer your question.
An hour ago.
It would be more relevant to your question so I can answer it more accurately.
It's not relevant, though. You're the one trying to make it relevant. It doesn't matter if it was BLM or somebody else. How do you feel about protesting, period?
What do you mean by protesting?
Oh my God.
That's a bit of a dodge. In the general sense, motherfuckers out there with a picket sign. How you feel about those guys?
Waste of time. If it made any difference, they wouldn't let you do it.
If it didn't make a
And
difference,
more, and 99% of the people out there with signs are missing the point. Almost always, they don't see the larger
you
picture.
wouldn't even be on YouTube if we weren't making a difference. Because your whole point is to stop us.
Jesus Christ.
It is. That's your point, right, Dennison? That's why you're here. You don't like protesting.
No.
What is a First Amendment auditor? Wow, it got silent.
Are you going to tell us?
Somebody asking you that.
Someone who
Why would
audits
I
the
tell
First
you? I
Amendment.
asked you. You mean you stand against something you don't even know? You don't
I
even
haven't
know what
stood
it
against
is?
anything.
You think
You're
he
just
stands
making shit
against-
up.
You think he stands
You're
against?
you're having a conversation with shadows in your own mind. You're not listening to
Because
me
you're not
at
answering.
all.
Because you're running from the question.
I haven't run from anything. I'm right here answering all your questions. You just don't
Okay, but
care
if you
about
go
the answers.
silent and say that I'm talking to shadows, that's you running from the question. You're being put on the spot, man. Lights on you. Boom.
What
What's the
question
First
did I
Amendment
not
auditor?
answer? Yeah, someone who
What?
audits the First Amendment.
What does that mean?
Someone who tests the First Amendment.
That's right. And you stand against First Amendment auditing community, yes or no?
No.
You don't.
No, I've been in it longer than you.
What do you mean in it?
I've been in the First Amendment community here on YouTube and before Google even existed.
And you don't oppose First Amendment auditing?
No.
But you do oppose protesting. You said that already.
No. No, I
You
didn't.
said that.
You said
that
that.
you oppose protesting.
No, I didn't.
I think he said that he thinks it's ineffective.
Okay. Well, earlier he said he opposed it.
No, I didn't.
He said that nobody should be out there doing that dumb shit, and that's why it's okay for
Yes.
17-year-olds to carry
Because
fucking
it's
long guns
ineffective.
to places
Because-
that people are going to be protesting, especially if they're BLM. That's what you've been saying. You just dance around how you say it, and I don't appreciate it. So I'm
and
calling
the
you out.
counter and the counter protesters for BLM too. Them too. They're just as stupid.
All right. Well, you know what's stupid is letting this country not. If you agree with this country not having that voice, then what you're saying is the government deserves all of the control. But in the same breath, you said you don't trust the government. So which
No,
one
I'm
is
telling you, the government already controls everything you do. You're only
No,
allowed
the
to
government
protest to
controls
the extent that
everything
they allow
do,
you.
not me.
The government already controls how you're allowed to protest, where you're allowed to protest, the time, manner, place.
Oh, is that right?
You're
Is
not
that
allowed.
right? Is
You're
that why
only
my
allowed
channel-
to do. You're
Is
only
that
allowed to
what you
do what
see
the
on my
Supreme
channel? Is that
Court
what
says you
see
can
on
do.
Joe Cool? Is that what you see
Yes,
on Joe
that's what
Cool's
he says.
channel?
Yes,
on my
that's
channel.
exactly what I see.
Yes,
Joe, do you
yes.
abide by the time, place, and manner?
Yes, there are many times when I do it's his private
What about the one that
property,
he
blah,
thinks
blah,
is time,
blah.
place, and manner?
We
What if-
usually do a lot of surprise shit, but I get what he's saying.
But it's still government has told you it's legal, so that's the only reason you believe. I can be on a public sidewalk. Government has decided I can be there. I'm standing on it like a pimp. You can't tell me nothing. Yeah, but that was predetermined that you can be on that public sidewalk.
We
Yeah,
have free
Exactly.
speech
I
zones
do
in this
kinda get what
country.
he's saying.
Free
Yeah, but I would
speech
also say that you're
zones.
not. I
In
would
any
also say-
country where they have a thing called free speech zones, you do not have free speech.
But
I'm
hold on.
sorry to
What-
be the
hold on. Whoa,
messenger,
whoa, 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 whoa.
the bearer of bad news.
Oh,
I'm
I thought you
sorry.
didn't like it. I thought you would
I'm
not cut someone else
but it's
off.
not my fault, brother.
No, wait.
It was
no,
like
you're not
this before I
understanding.
was
Hold
even
on, I'm gonna-
born, and
I'm
it
gonna
ain't got fuck all to do with me.
I'm
Neither.
going to put an anchor on your logic real quick. If you would just
All right, let's
let me
hear it.
ask you this. Does free speech and where you stand have anything to do with one another? You are still free
Yes.
to talk on that sidewalk. So they're not
No.
stopping you from your speech on the sidewalk or where you stand. You're still talking that speech. So don't
No,
confuse
if I'm corralled anywhere in order to have that speech, it's not free.
You're
Where
not
I'm able to
corralled. You
do
can
it,
speak anywhere.
when
You're
I'm
doing it
able
on
to
this
do it,
channel right
and
now.
the manner in which I'm able to do it are all part of whether or not I'm free to do it.
Well, you're doing it right now, and I bet you're not in a government free zone or a corral.
Yeah, because nobody gives a fuck about my stupid opinions. I'm nobody.
Yeah, but if you go to North Korea, they will care about you talking the way you're talking on this panel
Certain
right
Yes,
places
North
here.
Korea is worse than the United States.
Can I
correct.
go into a court and speak the way I want? Nah. Can I go in front of a cop and speak the way I want? And supposedly I can, but he's going to find someone to say they were offended by my speech or I threatened them. Or can I go into a fucking library and curse? You know, there are limits on our fucking.
Well, you actually can, Joe. You actually can free speak in a courtroom. You actually can free speak in a library. There are
Not for
limitations.
Why do
to it.
you say that? If
But-
I curse in a courtroom, I go to jail.
I didn't say.
I will
that you-
say I've had a cop come up to me and yell at me and say he was going to arrest me if I didn't stop cussing in the grocery store.
Yeah. Well,
'Cause I
what I
was
was
on the
going to
phone.
say is your rights do end where they start causing trouble, like
Where
let's
the
see,
state
your rights
says they
end
do.
when you violate
Which is
the
what I
rights
said
of another
earlier.
person.
I wasn't even
So-
cussing a person out. I was talking on the phone. Just saying.
And judges
well, I
are
would've
the
told that
ultimate
cop he-
arbiters
yeah.
of what the law means too.
That
So
just
at
happened.
the end of the
to me. I was
day,
like, what the
the
fuck?
judicial branch creates legislation even more than Congress does.
Yeah, there's more
You're
fucking
getting off
case law
topic.
than anything.
Especially when it comes to how we interact with the police. It's not off topic. It's exactly why we're in the situation we're in.
Well,
Yeah,
I don't
it's
agree.
I
because
I
get
don't
what
agree.
both of
That,
you guys are saying.
I
I
can
don't agree.
curse. I can say this and that because of Turner versus Driver. I can do this and that because of this. That is just magic bullshit determining restricting my free speech, not really giving it to me.
And he
I
got
can
lucky,
do it
too.
anywhere.
The
I
judge
just
could have
don't
told him to
agree.
go fuck himself and nearly did. He got lucky. He got a judge that would even,
Yeah,
lean
he
kind
had
of
to do it
toward the
on.
way we wanted.
I think he won it on appeal. Yeah, the first judge was against it. Went to the
Appeal's even
Supreme
stronger
Court.
anyway. It's better to win in the appeal court than it is to win in the small
Yeah,
state
and
court.
it was Texas Supreme Court somewhere, whatever district that shit is.
Yeah.
I just don't listen, Dennison. I just do not agree with the thought with promoting people that are trying to stop someone's specific type of speech. You're saying BLM. People should be. You're promoting people going there with guns to stop them because it was
I'm not.
BLM.
I never
Well, you
did that,
were.
though. You're just saying it.
But that's what you promoted.
I
That's
did
what
not
everyone
promote it.
heard. All right.
Yes, they
well,
hear what they want to hear.
No, you were saying what you wanted to say without directly
And-
saying
and
it. I'm
those
just making
words-
it-
See, there you
you're
go.
just making it
Everything
more simplified.
I
man.
have to be talking in code in order for it to be what you're trying to make it out to be.
No, you had to talk in
Hey,
code
gentlemen.
to dance around what you meant.
Yeah, I'm listening to that.
Hey guys,
It's
I just want to
some shit
say,
you make.
I just want to say, great conversation, everybody. I appreciate the back and forth. I appreciate the debate. I am gonna jump off though for a little bit. I may come back on later if you guys are still alive. But
All right, bet.
We love you,
Peace.
Summer.
Bye. Don't kill
too
each
long.
other just yet.
And I don't hate you,
Listen.
Dennison. It ain't like that at all, man. I'm just trying to call you out because I
Sure,
did
you do
not.
a little bit.
I just feel like what you were saying, man. I hear this so often from haters, and I'm so sick of people hating on groups of Americans.
But whenever
who are
you
just
repeat
trying
what
to
I'm
practice the
saying,
First
it's not
Amendment.
things I'm saying though.
Hey,
the
that's
thing.
good. That's what I wanted to drag the topic anyway. To Americans.
Real quick
and
before
hating
you
on-
go off to
Yeah.
something else.
Yeah.
I would recommend that you try to steel man your opponent's argument. And instead of like waiting to respond, actually listen to what they're saying.
Are you talking to me?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Go ahead, Joe.
I read real deep into what you were saying.
Yeah. Well, you read into it for sure.
No, I heard everything you said and I put it all together.
Good job, Alex.
Okay.
The American thing. Proud to be an American, blah, blah, blah shit. Is that not more mob mentality? Is that not me being a vice
Yes.
lord?
Absolutely.
Public
Joe?
safety?
What
Of
was your
gang.
question?
American. I'm proud to be an American. Us versus them. Ain't that the same shit as me when I joined the gang?
What do you mean? Like all of America collectively?
Yes, I think I was wrong. And well, shit, I don't know about that shit. I'm still like, that mob mentality shit is wrong. I think America is just a different form of it.
Well, I don't see American rights as a mob. I mean, I think that when we're talking about our collective rights, what we're talking about is our constitutional rights. You know, it's in black and white, and it only applies to Americans. So we're automatically going to be collective. I mean, based on that, I don't think it's mob. I think we're supposed to be united. Isn't that
You
why they
think?
call us the United States of America?
It applies to
Uh,
anyone in jurisdiction.
yeah,
Which is American jurisdiction we're talking about, right? Like under the U.S. Constitution, that's American jurisdiction.
Yeah, just not only Americans though. Anyone within America's jurisdiction.
Right. And I don't think we should disclude any certain populace inside of America, like BLM.
All right, so what about when America does shit that I'm against? Like, I don't know, give money to big bankers, big pharma, and to Israel to go kill some Palestinians. That's us too, right?
Yeah. And that's why we need our collective free speech. That's why we need our First Amendment, is so that we can see we're in a democratic republic. And what that means is that obviously the collective vote on an issue of how America spends its money should be collectively decided. So if your government is doing it on their own, then that's why the free speech comes in. That's why the First Amendment comes in, and the right to protest, because they need to hear that we, the people, as a collective group, did not decide that choice, and it's not okay for them to run off with their own decisions without us being involved.
Yeah. So I think this conversation is about to go straight to the Constitution, because all of these laws were pretty much against the Constitution. That sounds like you're a constitutionalist.
I am very much a constitutionalist.
Yes. Do you see that shit that these laws most of them go against the Constitution?
I think that there are limitations to the Constitution. Yes, I think that
guns.
I
Let's
think
start
that
there. Second Amendment.
Yeah. What about it?
Let's start there. What limitations do I have there?
Well, I mean, there's a lot of
regulating
them,
the
Joe.
mission.
Every state has hundreds involving weapons. I mean, of course, I believe.
Sound like you're about to back state laws now, which I didn't expect you to do.
No, I'm not going to back state laws. What I'm going to say is that they were supposed to be designed for the protection of each other, of people. Like, a lot of cops fall back on the whole. It's a civil
Which of them
situation.
are constitutional? Which of them
Not
are
the states.
constitutional? It's the states. Which of the states are constitutional in their gun laws?
Every state has its own constitution, but it's piggybacked off the American Constitution, the U.S. Constitution. Now, they're not supposed to make laws that contradict the Constitution, but what a lot of people think is a contradiction is actually just a limitation. Now, are these laws being done properly? My answer would be hell no. Otherwise, I wouldn't even have a YouTube channel. I mean, I'm exposing these laws being practiced improperly by government for a living now.
What's constitutional about the government telling me that I have to, I don't know, I can have a 10 clip magazine in my so-and-so, or I can't carry this gun, I can't carry that one. What's constitutional about those laws?
You mean how do they still stay within the realm of the Constitution?
Yes, I would assume the Second Amendment that says make no laws affecting this, and the state immediately goes and make laws. I'm trying to see which ones you think are still in line with the Constitution. State,
well, here's the problem,
Constitution.
Joe. It's not necessarily just the state making these laws. And despite what people think, what's happening is that people are allowing. They're not speaking out. They're not standing up if they don't believe in that law, and they're not getting their voices heard by legislation. So the states are getting carried away with making too many limitations, and that's our own fault. And it's a lot of faults, like the people like what Dennison was talking about, in trying to shut people up when they're trying to make a stance as an American and saying, we're not going to allow our government to make their own damn rules because they're going to get tyrannical. That's what they're doing. They're getting tyrannical. They're making too many limitations. So there are a lot of unconstitutional state laws that are coming out that do collide with the Constitution. But the problem is that we, the people, are not stopping that.
All
mean,
right, yeah, I'll be more precise then. Let's go with the laws that the state have. Uh, uh, let's say some guys, some chick, 73-year-old grandmother's going 7 miles over the speed limit. She gets pulled over, speed ticket. She won't get out the car to sign it. The state law allows for this guy to bust her window, snatch her out the car, tase her a couple times, lock her up, take her shit. That's the American way of life. Do we agree with that shit?
no, and I think where you went wrong is you said the law allows. They don't. The laws don't allow. The laws are opposite of that. Laws are saying what you cannot do, not what you can do. So if it's not written in law, then they get away with it because there's no statute against it. And that's the
I
problem
think
with
that's saying
qualified immunity.
exactly the same
But there
thing.
is a
In order
statute
for me to
against
do it, the
There
law
is,
must
there
allow
is,
it.
but that's when we piggyback. That's when we run into the problem of qualified immunity, because we have to get past qualified immunity to charge these cops for doing that kind of shit when it's against the law. The state
We
laws.
wouldn't though if we actually had rights or we had a judicial system that pretended we had rights.
Well, yeah, but again, we need our collective voice to demand to get that, and that's
I'm
where
trying
we're
to
going
get to
wrong.
that. Do we have a collective voice? Because I don't think that you get to charge me $200 because I went 5 miles over speed limit, and collectively people agree with that. So I'm going to disagree with the American way if it tells them that they get to take my money because I crossed over some yellow line. I could have killed somebody because I put my seatbelt on. I didn't put my seatbelt on. I owe you money. I don't agree with none of that shit. And the collective thinks it's okay. Fuck the
Well,
collective.
does the collective really think it's okay, or is the collective afraid to use their speech?
Man, they come out like sheep. You know they do. If a police pull me over and I'm not wearing my seatbelt, they think good for him. That he got what he deserved. You should have wore your seatbelt. You were poking a bear. You were expecting
Right.
trouble. Why didn't
And
you
you
just
definitely
comply?
don't have free speech if you're afraid to use it. That's the
Exactly. So
antithesis.
why aren't we teaching our kids in school to speak up? Why aren't we starting to involve our children with law? Why don't we know the law? Why don't we argue the law? Why aren't we forcing legislation
Because
that
I
we
am saying the
collectively
law
agree
is
with?
bogus. I am saying the law is bogus. I am
The
saying
government likes us ignorant.
Yes, the government does. We agree on
yeah,
that.
I don't want
completely.
to teach my kids to respect the law. I don't want to teach them that shit.
Yeah,
I want
me
to teach
neither.
them, that if no one
I'm a little
hurts you,
different with you guys on that, because what I don't like is victim crimes. If the law is actually
well, the
being
law works with victims. That's under my law, my definition of law. If you've hurt someone or deprived them of their property, then you've broken the law.
That's right.
Outside of that, then I don't see why you're in other people's business.
Yeah, now see, that I would agree with. And I think collectively, if people were really practicing their rights and understood the rights that they're allowed to do and demanding it, and then of course protesting every time it weren't being respected in every single state all across the country, then I think legislation would look a whole lot different on paper than what it does
I
right now.
think that gives credence to Dennis's argument that the only time they really allow us to protest is for nonsense, shit that barely moves the needle. If we're lucky, like our biggest protest, civil rights and shit like that, it ain't do it dead shit, causes as much harm as good. They let us get away with that shit. Small
And it's a
victories just
release
to keep
valve.
us in the game. But yeah,
It's a release
type
valve and a
shit.
distraction to make you think you have the illusion of influence and choice so that you
And-
don't drag them out French style.
No. Okay,
yes,
guys,
and we
listen,
keep going
I
out there
know
protesting.
I know of exact cases right here. I mean, you know what? In my own home, where that voice, that being loud, that involving the public and collective voices have caused them to follow the legal process for our case. And I also
You got a
witnessed it
point,
across
yeah.
the bridge over
You got a
with
point.
Brianna. They were not going to charge any of them cops in any of that Breonna Taylor case. And then all of a sudden, there was the protest. And guess
All right,
what
you got
happened
a
out of
point.
that? You know, it worked.
Again, though, small victories, right?
Well, it's
Yeah,
also
but it
still mob rule, not law, not rights, permissions, and politically operated.
Yeah, it took the mob
so
to
if
get it to happen, so the law
Yeah,
did
but
not
if you're
work.
going to call it a mob and you're going to act like it was a bad thing to demand that the legal process be practiced for Breonna Taylor's murder, you know that you can't call it a mob. You can't
Okay,
shove
well,
it down the
even if we
toilet.
rephrase it, let's see if his argument is whole. A group of concerned citizens came out and had to remind them to follow the law.
Mhm.
That's what we
I
got.
like that. And guess what? It worked. DOJ came in, they pressed charges. And it ended up cleaning up the entire, well, they're trying to clean up the entire Louisville Metro Police Department, which has been far gone tyrannical for a long time. And we are finally starting to see the broom come out. And it would not have happened if it weren't for that collective voice. I mean, that's the whole point that Summer is even on these panels is about. She is one of the leaders of that voice in the area where she's been making huge progresses, you know.
I love it.
And I'm one of them too. And I'm right here by Louisville as well. And I've, you know, worked on the same cases this summer.
That's where you are in Kentucky.
Yeah, I'm 10 minutes away from Louisville.
That's the last time I've been to Kentucky. I need an excuse, man. I certainly want to put some of that shit you talked about, that guy JJ, all the shit they've been giving you.
Visit, Joe. You love it here.
I know I've been down. Ain't nothing popping in my head because I'm blowed, but man, I done spent time everywhere, and I'm absolutely sure Kentucky had been on the map, but I can't think of who lives there or harassed there.
Man, Kentucky is bad, dude. Like, man, I had no idea what kind of shit pile I was stepping into when I went over to Kentucky.
I got videos from Louisville, Kentucky. I bet you.
Bet you do.
Yeah,
I'll find one and comment in it. I'll say, here's one.
I think I got something saying for Kentucky, and I could be wrong. I don't know. Odds are, what's the fucking? All right, I'm getting off track, man. Y'all can't let a motherfucker smoke this much weed, talk too much. I'll be talking about shit, but for public safety, let me ask you a question. Are satellites real?
Or what?
Satellites real.
You know what? I'm not a scientist, but I'd say, I mean, I guess I believe in them. I know I'm using a cellular device right now.
Because I've been arguing out with some motherfuckers lately, man. They're like, Joe, it's all for a show. The real wires are underground. That's how you communicate. That's just a show to trick you. And I'm like, what about the footage and shit and all that CGI? Are you serious? Everything I was saying is CGI? Yeah.
You can look up and see satellites.
I know. I told him, I look up, I see them all the time.
Do they bury the wires under the flat Earth, or
right? Yes. You know what he said they were? He said the satellites. When I look out, I told him I can see them. I'm in Colorado. It's dark as fuck. He said they were balloons with lights and rockets on them that shoot across the sky to trick me.
Were you all smoking weed at the time, man?
I absolutely was, but there ain't no excuse for motherfuckers saying that crazy shit, bro.
That dude was fucking with you, Joe. Man, you all are awesome. Look, Dennis, and I don't mean no hard feelings, brother. It's just, I'm pretty animate about.
You did a little while ago.
Yeah, well, my stance on protecting
much, motherfucker.
My stance on protecting
I'm okay
the
with
First Amendment. Look, man, I ain't afraid to go at the throat when somebody stands against the First Amendment. That's what I do. That's who I am.
Nobody stood against the First Amendment. Told you Kyle Rittenhouse wasn't a murderer, and that's what started the whole thing.
No, what got me was when you were saying that people like Kyle Rittenhouse is fine to come out against BLM protests. That's what bothered me.
I never said that either.
Well, in a roundabout way, you did, bro.
I didn't. I said he was stupid and he shouldn't have been there.
Right. But the whole
That's exactly what I said.
The whole
I picked on Kyle and made fun of him and criticized him. You didn't hear any of that. You heard he didn't. You heard he didn't cold-bloodedly murder some innocent BLM protesters, and so that whole narrative that you just seem to be really addicted to got shattered by facts. And so
it did not. You tried to break it down into little minute details and run in fucking circles. All right. Well, I'm sorry for trying to make peace with you. I won't do it again.
Can I say something?
Please.
Before I want to say, this conversation's been going on for quite a while. It's gotten heated at times and loud, but you notice there was very little like "you stupid motherfucker" or anything like that.
Mm-hmm.
And I just appreciate that you
Yeah.
can have these kind of conversations.
Hey, and Dennison, less hard R's, bro, next time.
You know it's in my DNA. I am 25. I'm 25% Caucasian, so you know that even when I'm trying to use the NA, it still comes out with a little R on there. I can't help it, and I don't appreciate you.
I totally missed it because that's something that I will definitely bounce people for. I don't care what color you are.
Playing.
Oh, okay. I thought maybe, okay. Because I thought, wow, how did I miss it? I usually,
Dennison said a lot of dumb shit, but that wasn't one of them.
Citation needed.
Everybody know I'm an idiot. Don't fucking trust me.
We love you, Joe. All right, you all. I got to get out of here, man. It's my
It's
bedtime.
been great, Pep. It's been great.
Peace.
It was cool.
Good night, guys.
Hey, get my number. Don't forget to get my number from Rogue.
I'll get it from Rogue. I got you, brother.
All right.
All right. Good night, y'all.
See ya.
Peace.
Keep up the good fight, Chris, by the way.
Yes. Right. That was some heroic shit, bro. It was a good battle, shit back and forth. I like the DUI guy. I see how, man, he's looking at the paperwork. I'm a lawyer. Bullshit. They don't even have cameras in conference rooms. He's sure of it. And then dude come back, wow, looks like a camera. I was in chat. CGI. Oh, man. It was exciting, bro.
Okay, but we do agree that satellites are real. But birds
I
are
would
all,
think so.
birds are all government drones. There's no real birds.
Yes, birds are definitely drones and spy satellites. You don't trust a bird. Oh, fuck.
Pigeons are liars.
Yeah, especially stool pigeons.
I said before, when I first saw things like the Flat Earth Society and some of that stuff, I thought people were just like going along
Trolling.
with a joke. Yeah, it was a joke thing,
Me. Yeah.
And then all of a sudden I realized there's actually people out there believing the Earth is flat, birds do not exist. It's like, and somebody may jump on me, but I believe that we really landed on the moon.
Yeah, that was don't even say fucking hard to prove.
I'm 50-50 on that one.
What about the fact that there is? I argue with motherfucker that it's even a moon. They tell me it's a projection. It's flat. I hear all sorts of crazy shit.
Well, then, if that was true, where does all the cheese come from?
Yes. It seems logical to me. We need all these spaceships to go get cheese. And fucking stop asking questions, motherfucker. You like cheese? Shut the fuck up.
That's right.
What do you stand against cheese?
You again? Wait, that was the greatest shit.
Are you anti-pizza?
Public safety don't understand how you are about words. I do. That was the greatest shit in the world to me, because in a lot of cases you were asking for clarification, and dude was taking it as a dodge, right? And so it kept getting heated every time, or you say that's not what I said. He's encapsulating the idea, and you're talking about that is not the word. I don't know. You guys miscommunicating was the funnest part about the fucking night.
Yeah, there was a lot of that.
Yeah. Well, yes. And then I don't know if it pays if he knows Dennison. He'd been able to argue better with him. A lot of the assumptions that he had about Dennison, he had to, tuck him out and all that bullshit, he could have got past. Because he just thought he was a bootlicker at first. And so it took a while to change that up.
Well, I think he still thinks I am.
I do got to say, and I really like Chris for public safety. And me and Dennison have knocked heads before, but there was an awful lot of when Dennison would say, I did not say this. And he would say, well, you implied it.
Yes.
And he didn't realize Dennison tried to be very literal.
So, right. You can't say that.
Yeah, I'm not trying to imply shit.
Right.
I come right up, part of the reason why I have, anonymity on the internet is so I can be honest with the people I'm talking to.
That was another reason he kept messing up. Because when he would take what you said and make an assumption, he'd say, okay, so you believe this and that, and you'll say no. And he'll be like, you just said it. But no, he was, we had a bunch of those too.
It took me a while to catch on to Denizen too. The very first time we met, we really knocked heads.
Yeah. I don't even remember the first time I met that dude.
It's on the People's Podcast. I actually didn't see it that way. I thought Muck was one of the most like tolerant and reasonable people on a panel, which I did not have a very tolerant and reasonable experience. I put Muck in the column of people who did not try to attack me and fuck with me,
He was one of the reasonable ones. Huh?
Yeah, that's how it. But I still pissed him off. See, Joe, he still thought, like, from his perspective, he was like, this motherfucker.
Well, no, actually, I thought the first time we met was here. And I remember we really knocked heads here. I don't remember TPP.
TPP was over doxing, and here was over the wage gap, I think is how it started. And
I don't remember.
And then I made a chauvinist comment about liking when ladies show up to work dressed sexy. What really triggered everybody was when I said that the wage gap wasn't real. But then there was another point during the already heated debate in which I said I appreciate when ladies look nice when they come to work. That really did not go down well. Sarge called it piggish.
Yeah.
Doesn't that tell you something about TPP if Denizen thought I was the reasonable one?
Yeah.
Well, I think they're deliberately abusive and toxic over there, and it starts from the head. It's like that. He creates that environment over there and encourages it.
Yeah.
Oh wow! I rarely even see Eli over there.
Oh, he was there the first time I went.
Yeah.
But let's not make this about that, please.
All right.
Anyway, anybody else want to come up? We've got room.
Otherwise, we're going to talk about the wage gap.
That's right. we could use another white guy because right now me and Joe got Denizen outnumbered.
Don't call me white.
Yeah, I feel like I'm in the minority column up here. I don't know. I think it's 2 against 1. Yeah, let's shit. Now that I think about it, Muck more Black Lives Matter than I am, so maybe I'm wrong. Oh shit. Man, as far as that white motherfuckers helping black people, I think it's the greatest shit in the world. And it goes both ways. But that goes back to the 60s and all of those big movements and steps that they made back then. There was white motherfuckers alongside, probably more than the black motherfuckers. Certainly all of. Go ahead, man.
Well, no, I was on that just a little while ago, back on that other panel. Somebody they said to me, "You don't understand Martin Luther King, yada yada," and they were somebody that's like 30 years old, and I'm like, "You fucker! I grew up watching that on TV. I know a little bit about Martin Luther King and Malcolm X, and they were like telling me I don't understand what the civil rights." And it was another white guy, by the way, so it wasn't like it wasn't like someone saying you can't relate, But it's like, don't try to correct me from your fucking history.
A young motherfucker too. Yeah.
Anyway,
that busing shit. That was white people, all those voters' rights and all of that shit. They were busing white people in. And they knew that black people were so afraid of white people, they do whatever they said. And all they had to do was bust them in, have them knock on the door, and say we would like you to go vote this weekend. And once a white motherfucker told them to do it, they'd go do it. It was that fucking simple. And I shouldn't say it was that simple because, you know, people famously got killed. The 3 civil rights, Cheney, Goodman, Schwartz. People got killed and beaten badly during that shit.
And it took many years for some people to be prosecuted for that stuff.
Yes. And one of my guys, Bob Moses, he was there. He's I think he was the founder of SNCC, Student Nonviolent Coordinating Committee, I believe. One of the co-founders or something. But I was at that young age, or, you know, I was just coming out of my teens or some early 20s. And, you know, my neighborhood, white man was the devil. Hebrew Israelites and all of that, you know, Caucasus Mountain, Joy, don't trust them, Joe. They just poverty pimps, because my shit is solid black. You barely even see white motherfuckers in my neighborhood. So as soon as I started getting out the neighborhood, I would talk to anybody I could. And at that time, I was asking every black motherfucker I could. I was so excited because I know that he'd worked with a lot of white people. He's got like 5, 6 movies that I know about. I'm sure he's got a lot more made about him. And I was like, well, listen, man, what do you think about this? I also asked some Illuminati questions. I was studying that shit then. I was like, what about this, man? We're a white motherfucker, the devil. Where you fall on that shit? You're like, yeah, well, I'm like, no, motherfucker. You worked with a ton of white motherfuckers. Are they all bad? He was like, well, I'm like, my ass, nigga, to the man. Are they bad? Every one of them. Well, I don't know, Joe. But it'll give you where his mind is. He still thought white people were bad, bro.
Well, I'll tell you, if you'd have taken a picture of your neighborhood at the time, an old film camera, and held up the negative, you'd be looking at my neighborhood.
Right on. I hear you.
Exactly the opposite, you know?
Yes, I understand. And it's crazy.
Diverse.
Lucky dog.
Real diverse, like fucking Laotians and fucking, you know, like countries you ain't never even heard of.
Diversity where I grew up was, oh, hey, there's some Italians.
Right.
I did live in a neighborhood
Irish.
once where the Italians were like, would get beat up by the Irish kids. That was, and ironically enough, that was after my family had more money than when we lived with the Laotians and everybody else.
When I was a kid, it was dangerous still. You leave out the neighborhood, they chase you on your bike, call you the hard R and shit. You know, I'm old. Yeah. Certain neighborhoods you couldn't go to. As kids, you couldn't go to them alone, that type of shit. Well, certainly, this video of black kids riding into different neighborhoods and getting called the N-word and getting hard times. Just I don't know, little 10, 12-year-olds and shit. That was a real thing. It's a lot less of that now.
What always got me about my town and my area of central Pennsylvania, especially back then, was people were very racist. And I always thought, you have not even ever seen a brown person. How could you hate them so badly, you know?
Yeah, that's why it's so important, man. They say travel kills all that racism, tribal nonsense, because you see all different kinds of people and you learn for yourself, people are people. But if you stay in that segregated environment, the people you love and admire and respect, if they're telling you, a white person, the devil, a black motherfucker is less, you're going to fall victim at some point. You could anyway.
I was lucky I had parents that didn't put up with that bullshit.
Yes, that helps, right? My parents were sheep like some bitches. I still, my old man died recently, but I still used to give them shit. Why y'all, damn it, didn't, warn me about all this shit. They was like, don't look the white man in the eye. They from down south. What none of that fight shit, I had to learn that on my own, bro.
Well, I remember seeing stuff. It just astounded me when I found out about, like how a black father will sit down with his son at a young age and say, if the police pull you over, you just keep saying, yes. Sir. Because, I grew up in that privileged society where, you could talk to the cops however you wanted and stuff.
That officer friendly shit. We would see
Yeah.
that in our neighborhood. By the time you 9 years old, you were like, oh, that shit crazy, Joe. These motherfuckers, they talk to your mom like she's a dirt bag. You know, they were horrible for cameras in my neighborhood, man. I mean, putting hands on people, they just beat motherfuckers all the day, pull their gun on motherfuckers, and you know, and they just really horrible. And that was just like all day, every day. We knew the police by name because they beat women, you know, beat up the drug dealer and take his money and buy ice cream for the kids and shit. They had reputations, and I've never. Of course, that formed an opinion about the police. I mean, I'd be an idiot to think it didn't. You know, and when I started traveling, I remember going to Texas, one of the first places I went. But I got some good conversation, and those guys, I was back on my feet. I'm trying to think of what city I was in Texas. But they were so nice, and I was not accustomed to that. I was not. I was just waiting for something bad to happen. It never did. As you know, now
I think one of the best things that's happened to our country is this. Now that everybody walks around with a camera in their pocket, you know, because I've said this before, you know, years ago, people like me, you'd see stuff on the news of some black guy getting arrested in Los Angeles and saying, oh, the cops planted drugs on me or they beat me. And you go, yeah, sure. You're just trying to come up with stuff to get out of trouble, you know?
Yes.
And as soon as, and even, you know, with Rodney King, you know, it was like, okay, but what happened beforehand, you know? But now that you see so much of it, it's hard for people to turn a blind eye.
Yes, and people like
thinking,
us.
Oh, I guess, yeah, I guess they were telling the truth all along, you know?
I think it's interesting that some people see it that way, and some people would rather shout you down. I mean, some people will attack you for showing that. You know, like, why don't you show the good stuff? They're mad that you show a police hurting someone or doing something unjust, as opposed to being like, yeah, fuck, dude was right. It could have been me. They do it all the time instead of that shit. Stop telling people about it. They want it quiet. It's fucking, you know, I guess that's, you know, that's that, you know, don't burn down Master's house. Master's a good master mentality.
Yeah.
All right, Mark, I'm high as two people. I think I'm finna get off here too, man. Dennis, later.
Peace.
Well, I'll tell you, you left quick. You say Joe does better high than most people do sober.
I need some stronger weed.
Yeah. Anybody want to come up? Track, you want to come up? I don't know if there's anything else going on around town. I see the British are still at it over there.
BBAs?
Yeah.
Who's over there?
I don't know. I didn't look in. I just saw that the live thing is still up. But they, yeah, it's like 4:30 in the morning over there.
Yep.
It was funny when Finkels said he had a channel going over here. And I came over and I saw Track was here and he had left Bears before that. And then you came in right behind me. It was kind of like we were raiding his channel. Anyway. But if we've got nothing left to talk about and nobody else wants to come up, we could let,
Yeah, shut her down.
yeah, I don't even know. Oh, it's only going on 3 hours. I thought it was longer than that.
That's pretty good length.
Yeah, especially since it kept going the whole time.